What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the video. Hope you're all doing well. This is not a typical video by me and Jeff, but today we're actually going to be doing a reaction video to a video we posted about our last episode on the Cleveland Pulse podcast. It was about the Raiders and the Browns game where the Browns lost to the Raiders. And for the first time, we had a huge outpouring of views and comments. And so we're going to be looking at some of those comments. I have already looked at the majority of them and responded to them. That's kind of my thing. So honestly, this is going to be more about me hearing what Jeff has to say, but we'll talk about it and everything. But besides that, Jeff, how you doing, my guy?
Good. I've never had it. I don't think I've ever had an interaction with a Raiders fan ever.
No.
Until this last video. So, I mean, we appreciate them, I guess, the majority of them for stopping by, and hopefully they come and check out this one.
Right, absolutely. So we'll get right into it. So I'm going to share my screen here and give us a minute so I can get into the present. So here we are. So like I said, I've responded to these already. Jeff is going to. I'm gonna read it off, and Jeff, you're gonna give the first response. And obviously, we're not showing my responses here, but we'll get into it and everything. So I'm not gonna say the names. You guys can see the names up here and everything, especially since like I don't know how to say. I mean, this one I don't know. This is just like Ray Durjo Joe. I don't know. Anyways, so this dude, he was going on about if the weather conditions were clear, Raiders probably would have put up like 40 points. I just think Browns take for granted the importance of having Odell and Chubb, but with those two guys on the field, the Browns are a real contender. So this was one of the more like kind of like fair Raiders fans, obviously not, grandstanding too much, but 40 points on his mind. I mean, against our defense, I also agree with that. Jeff, what do you think about this first one?
Yeah, I agree with Raider Joe. I think, probably could have put 40 up against us. I don't know. I think the weather was interesting for that game. So that's Cleveland weather for you. I know they're probably not used to that out in, wherever, Las Vegas or Oakland. I bet, probably still a lot of Oakland. Obviously, there's still going to be Raiders fans. But Odell and Chubb makes us real contenders. Agree and disagree. Chubb definitely does. I don't know if you could have said yet that Odell's really made us a real contender. On paper, yes. On the field, hasn't translated. Maybe.
Jeff, kudos to you on getting that. Why did he put it like that? Why did he make his name like that?
I don't know.
I'm good by you. I mean, I completely I was trying to sound it out and everything, but that was really good by you. So, yeah, I mean, this was just one of the more modest ones. So we'll go to the next one. I'm not going to try these names. I'm just going to read it. If Jeff wants to take a stab, he did well enough for the first one. So the refs rob you guys of a touchdown and they rob us of a touchdown. Nothing to hang your heads at. What was an ugly weather game. The thing is, you guys have to deal with that kind of weather all the time, right? And that's absolutely right. I mean, that's just a game that the Browns should have won because of the conditions. The touchdowns that, yeah, I mean, we lost a touchdown, they lost a touchdown. It is what it is. So, Jeff, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I like how this guy stated it. Definitely an ugly weather game, but we should have the advantage there. Should have had the upper hand. I tried to make this. I tried to order them kind of like 1-and-1, kind of like how one person would kind of be way over the top, and then the next person would kind of be more like in the middle. But it's the majority of Raiders fans, and I mean, this guy gets it. This guy gets playing in Cleveland, so I like that one.
Yeah. So. All right, Jace White. So that quote-unquote fumble on Carr would have been called back anyway. I watched the replay, and he was clearly down. His butt hit the ground before the ball came out. So this was one of those ones.
Jace White watches the replays, NFL ref.
I was, at the game, so I couldn't really tell. The angles that they were giving us at the stadium were really awful for a lot of the reviews. But Jeff, what did you think? This was just like a minor point within the video, but yeah, what did you think about this?
He's right. He's got 6 thumbs up. So I mean, the rest of the Raiders clan, agreed with him, but he's got a point. And the replays were pretty evident.
Yeah. Wow. Mega Daddy Gaming, huh?
With the Xbox 360 logo. 11 likes. This was my favorite, I think. Well, top 2.
Yeah, as a Raiders fan, just wanted to say GG, y'all are a really good team. Yeah, again, this was I think this was the best one that I gave him props. I said back to him, is like, yeah, you guys were the better team today and great win by you guys. But I like it better when, people are just like, they give props where props are due. So Jeff, you said you liked this one.
Yeah. I mean, as much as like, I feel like there's like AFC rivalries, I mean, I'd still, you got to respect the AFC teams. I feel like the AFC has to like stick together. It's at the end of the day. I mean, I'd rather have a team from the AFC win the Super Bowl, even if it's not the Browns. Just got to look out for your conference sometimes, even though you fight with them almost every week.
Yeah. Jordan, oh goodness, I'm just going to call him Jordan. The Colts are the only decent team they beat this year. So now we're going to start getting into like the ones that are kind of like bad mouthing us. So their wins come in shootouts against bad teams. Yeah, Jordan, again, I try to stay pretty positive when I was replying to these guys in the first place, but I don't know. Can you tell in the back of that photo? I know it's super tiny, but it kind of looks like a Pittsburgh Steelers colors flag, which I was kind of like, maybe this is just like maybe this is like a Steelers dude just trying to troll us right now. But I mean, he's right and he's wrong. I mean, I could go more in depth into this, but honestly, this was just one of the ones where it was like, yeah, he was trying to get people riled up.
I agree for some of it. I do think the Colts are the best team we've beat. I mean, I think that's probably your hardest game so far. That we've come out on top. Shootouts against bad teams. I mean, I think that's probably referring to the Baltimore games, which is true. But
the Cincinnati games, you mean?
Yeah, the Bengals game. Sorry, not Baltimore. Yeah, those 2 games are probably what he's referring to. But I mean, the Colts are probably the best competition we beat, so he's got a point there.
I feel like the Colts are like the team that we dominated the most, though, in my opinion. I mean, if you think about all our wins, I mean,
we did beat Dallas with Dak, but they're not very good.
Yeah,
I think the Colts are better than them, even with Dak.
Yeah. All right, so Joe Clark. So this is a shout out to Joe. Joe's one of my longtime buddies from grade school. I've known this kid forever. Super supporter of the channel and everything. So a quick shout out to him. And also just, if you aren't already subscribed to my channel, this is obviously where I post all the videos for our episodes in the podcast. So just again, you guys give us a quick subscribe. That would help us out a lot. And then, so Joe is going on about super exciting commentary from me and you, Jeff. You guys are killing it out there with the podcast. Keep them rolling. With that being said, our Brownies defense is abysmal. Definitely love your idea of targeting Gilmore from a talent perspective. That was Jeff, just to make that clear really quickly. But are we in a win now position to be trained for a 30-year-old corner? What do you guys think? Also, when Chubb comes back, the 2-headed beast of Chubb and Hunt will be in full effect, which opens so many doors for the offense in general, especially in the passing game, where defenders have to focus on 2 stud backs instead of just Hunt. Nice work, gents. Jeff, you wanna respond to this one real quick?
Yeah, shout out Joe Clark. We love Joe Clark. This is one of the better ones, so had to throw it in there. But I think he's got a good point. Our defense does suck. It's pretty bad. And Gilmore, as far as him being 30, obviously, nothing happened. This was a comment posted when the trade deadline was still going on. But as far as a win now position, I think, if you're looking for the long like outset of this team, probably a good trade delay off. I think as far as a win now, you don't need to go get Gilmore. I think it's for a momentum now type of just whole thing for the franchise. I would have loved to snag him. I would have loved to pick up another huge defender, and I think a playoff berth for this franchise is just a huge momentum builder. I mean, who knows what could happen if we get some positive, playoff vibes, even if we lose in the first round. I mean, it's still a huge step in the right direction, but we're missing a couple of key pieces on the offensive side of the ball too, as well.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hold off on my take on the whole trade deadline stuff and all that for our next podcast. But I mean, I agree with Joe. Our defense is abysmal. The only way we are competitive with a lot of teams is when we take away the ball, and we haven't done that in a very long time. A couple of passes that we should have intercepted. The Ronnie Harrison pass on the first drive, the pass from Derek Carr to whoever he was throwing it to, looked like he was throwing it to no one essentially, and Ronnie was about to pick it off and go for 6. But yeah, I mean, the defense is abysmal. I don't think that there was one single trade that could have, pushed that defense to be a more solid, coherent group. So I'm kind of happy that we laid off of that. The Chubb and Hunt thing it's just been so apparent that, without Chubb, Kareem really hasn't been as great as a runner without him. Just because people key in on him, they know when he's in, he's more likely going to get the run than anything. So they load the box against him. So when Chubb comes back, Chubb is a different type of runner than Kareem is too. Kareem's a little bit of a he makes a lot of quick cuts instead of like what Chubb does. Chubb's kind of like a full steam ahead kind of runner. He'll also make those cuts, but I think that you're more going to see Kareem kind of look for those holes and kind of pick his poison in terms of where he's going to go. But Chubb, he usually tries to follow the holes as best as he can and kind of just put his head down and go get yards. And if he breaks through the hole, he's kind of gone. So I agree with Joe. When those two are back in the game together, you'll see our running game, especially, get back into, hopefully have Nick be a 100-yard rusher. So that'll be a good thing. So thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Oh God. Yeah. So this is, I can already tell you
this one.
yeah. So I can already tell you, I got to move me and Jeff out of the way for this one. Hold up. We are, so my goodness, I don't even know where I'm going to have to put us at the bottom here.
How did you get the skull and crossbones in there?
Dude, I don't know.
That's sick.
So I can tell you without even like reading this right now, this was the most passionate Raiders fan there was in the whole comment section. And it was great. I had a back and forth with him at some point. So, but Troy Butcher, Raider Nation, you guys should just be glad they screwed us on 2 touchdowns. First, the Henry Ruggs, the third
dots
touchdown.
In the parentheses. He's got 2 in parentheses. Got ... He's got so many parentheses.
Dude, he was passionate. He was passionate.
I love it.
The Henry Ruggs touchdown, then second and goal Josh Jacobs touchdown that was called short. I still can't believe we didn't challenge that, but I figure Gru thought we would. Dude, Gru from Despicable Me. Gru thought we would just punch it in the next play. Anyways, you guys are talking like you're better than the Raiders. Nope. We have had so many guys hurt out and played the toughest schedule in the NFL to this point. Don't let the 4-3 fool you. We're a surefire playoff team. The Raiders are a completely different team than most people think. We finally came out of the other side of the Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper trades in the 2018 rebuild.
This is the best.
The Raiders are in the beginning stages of a dynasty.
Oh my.
And I'm not sure. I'm not some delusional fan that don't understand football and thinks we're going to win 12 games every year regardless of the situation. Nope. Last year, after the AB debacle, I said we would go 8-8. I'm realistic. We finished 7-9, but got royally screwed against the Jags in a game that should have been over a dub, parentheses, a dub. And because of that BS, we went for 2 against the Broncos. So we easily could have been 9-7 last year, even with 20+ players hurt that season. What is he even
saying at this point? What is he even saying? He's a man's just rambling. He honestly holds it together until the Raiders are in the beginning stage of a dynasty. There's only one team in the beginning stage of a dynasty in the AFC. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. And this whole stuff about last season, just
him saying he's not some delusional football fan and he understands football and that he's realistic.
He kind of has a point
to where we are right now, where he says, my point is I keep it 100. I'm not that delusional fan who thinks we should win regardless of what we have this season, though. I know what we have, and I know DC is a top 5 quarterback. This is the boldest statement in the world. When he has weapons outside at receiver, the Raiders are for real, and we're only going to get better because we're extremely young but extremely talented. I get you guys are going to be a bit biased because the Browns are your team, but if you think you're better than the Raiders, you're tripping. Raiders Nation, 12-4, 2020, DC for MVP. Our floor is the playoffs, and the sky is the limit. So, Jeff, quick question: do you still think we're too biased on our podcast? Do you think just reading it? I think he puts us straight. I think he gets us on the straight and narrow. I think I might have to lay off on drinking the Kool-Aid of the Cleveland Browns at 5-3 right now.
I think we're pretty even because I think I'm pretty down the middle, and you're you lean the optimistic side, and I lean probably the pessimistic side. I think that's kind of how we talked about, especially when the NFL season rolled around, that's how we were going to be. So we're probably a little bit biased toward the Browns, but I mean, I don't think either of us even said that we were better than the Raiders. I think we said it was probably going to be a pretty even game, but we were just going to have the advantage being at home.
I think I'll be the first to admit, I think I insinuated that with players back, we could have been a better
right.
We could have been a better team. I think in a game where the weather isn't as bad as it was, it's a completely different game. Like I think it was the first one that we read that the guy was like, if the weather hadn't been as bad as it was, it would have been 40. I think it would have been a shootout, and we really could have seen if Derek Carr is really this MVP type quarterback this man seems to think. I was like, dude, I wasn't going nuts. I was like, I read the comment and I initially went, Derek Carr for MVP. And I just like, Jeff, top 5 quarterbacks, who could you list off right now? Because for me, it's Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes.
I got like a lot of people ahead of him. Kyler Murray's playing better this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, maybe he's super efficient, which I've always said that he
might be top 10.
Yeah, he's top 10.
I think Big Ben's probably playing better than him. Lamar's playing better than him. Well, Lamar might be playing just as good as him. I don't know.
I have like controversial opinions on the rest of the AFC North quarterbacks. That's why I didn't say Big Ben or Lamar. But if I really wanted to get into it, he's nowhere near Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson for me. I mean, Drew Brees, I don't know that he's played that well. Tom Brady, though, I mean, Tom Brady has definitely played way better than Derek Carr.
Talk about its comment.
It's just this man. I try to be as good as I could have been when I made my comment back to him, but we did have like a good back and forth after this. It was essentially, it was like, yeah, you know what? You guys were the better team that day. I just think that there were some points in our game that we could have improved on. And if we had a couple of guys back, he listed off all the guys that, or maybe it wasn't this one. Maybe there's one more, or maybe later on in our back and forth that we talk about injuries, but yeah, this man was definitely the most passionate of the Raiders fans, I believe. So it was a good laugh. It was a good laugh for sure. So, all right. So I
like this one too. I like all of them.
Totally old school. I don't even know that I feel like this one isn't even a Vegas fan, but I don't know.
He was trying to make it so dramatic. I loved it. Real grass.
Totally old school, real grass, horizontal, 40-mile-per-hour hailstorm, actual people. Why can't Vegas get people in their stadium this season? Seemed like about 15 to 20K at the game, hitting, great line play, great guts, really hard running. Carr, a total leader this year, really satisfying. Team.
Like he's another speech, pre-game speech.
Yeah, this is after they won the game. He was in there with Gruden giving the speech. Grew. So yeah, I mean, a lot of passion with these Raiders.
9 out of 10 for that one. That one was good.
Yeah, mailman. Oh my goodness, I wonder if I go out to talk to my mailman today, if he'll have this opinion still. Too many excuses from you two. Every team has injuries. Raiders had 2 Pro Bowl linemen. two pro ball linemen injured, two starting receivers injured, starting corner injured. Got to win with what you have, period. So, I mean, this was probably, again, from us talking about, Wyatt Teller, Nick Chubb, just Odell Beckham Jr., just the guys, that we have injured. I mean, I don't think that we were, being like super like, oh man, if we had all these guys back, we would have won that game for sure. And I mean, I definitely made the point about, their team having people on the COVID list. So, I mean, this one's just kind of like, calling us out again, but he edited it apparently not enough to get ball, but whatever.
You do have to win with what you have. I mean, that's probably the best thing you could take from there. But I mean, that's 2020. That's COVID season, no preseason. Everyone does have injuries. It is the case.
Right. Don't know how to say that name, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. If it was a sunny day, Ruggs and Nelly, I'm guessing that's Nelson Aguilar and Waller, would have went off with no Garrett. Garrett not in for like a good percentage of the defensive snaps, but I mean, I agree. I don't know.
The weather's a huge talking point, apparently.
I mean, it makes sense. And no one threw the ball. I mean, Derek Carr tried to throw the ball down deep once.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was awful. But I mean, I agree with this man. Our defense, again, abysmal. Don't think it would have been that hard for any of these three to go off. I just think that we too would have had a little bit of a better passing game than what was. So CJB. Raiders are just a better team. It's that simple. Browns are in a tough division and would have to split wins with Pitt and be more to have a chance at the 7th seed.
Second sentence before you start. Second sentence, 100% agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, Jeff, I told you that way before even the Bengals game. I told you that I'd be willing to take a loss to the Bengals and win this Raiders game because of how contested that 7th seed in the AFC is going to be. I mean, it's great that we picked up the win against Indianapolis, but the Raiders are going to be right there at the end. I think. I don't know what the rest of their schedule is. Some of these guys made it seem like their schedule is super tough, so we'll see. But if it comes down to a tiebreaker against us and the Raiders, it's gonna be one to remember. So that's for sure.
Yep.
Johnny P. This is another one of our high school buddies, John Parilla. I love this man, but him just quoting me about saying Sendejo looking awful as always. I mean,
that's all that can be said, honestly.
If I receive text from anyone about Sendejo and it's not Jeff, it's John. John will text me about why is this man still on the field, and John, when we played high school football, he played safety. He would text me that he thinks he could play better than Sendejo.
I don't blame him, honestly.
No, not at all. So, but I think that's the last one. I mean, those were all good for a laugh at points and times. I mean, just high quality to get that kind of response back was awesome. I woke up that morning and I don't know what I was doing. I went and I was just like, oh, maybe I'll check how the video is doing on YouTube and everything. And I wake up and it's like at 100 something with a ton of comments. And I text Jeff and I'm like, dude, check the video. And he doesn't get back to me for like 2 or 3 hours. The man was sleeping in, but that was awesome. It was really cool. I personally enjoyed responding to those messages and everything, but it's good to get that response back and to be able to actually do that. Jeff, I know you made these slides and everything, so I really do appreciate that. And obviously, you had a good time reading them too and wanted to respond to them. So I'm glad that we got to do this.
Yeah, Raider Nation, keep coming back. I mean, we like talking to you. I mean, we're in the AFC together, so let us know. We really do appreciate all you guys showing out. So
absolutely, and hey, Browns fans, if you guys could be, a little bit more active, we would appreciate that if you could show that we're a little bit better of a fan base than the Raiders, because personally a little biased. Just remember, we are a little bit biased apparently, but the name of the podcast is the Cleveland Pulse Podcast, so of course when we're talking about Cleveland sports, we are a little bit biased. But, you know, like Jeff said, wake up. We need a little bit more support from you guys. We need you guys to comment, like, subscribe, all that great stuff. But yeah, that's what we're going to call for this one. We're going to get into the next episode of the Cleveland Pulse podcast here in a few minutes. We're going to do a review, or not a review. Well, yeah, so kind of a review of the trade deadline,
state of the Browns,
and the state of the Browns
halfway through.
Yep. So with that, we're going to call it, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.